Yeah. Thank you again for coming. Very good morning to all of you. So, special welcome from my side personally. Thank you, Mr. Valliappa. Thank you, Mr. Minister, sir, for coming. And thank you, Collector, sir, for coming. Family members also participating in today's event. And welcome all of you, each one of you who come from near and far. Great here. So, I just put a couple of slides here. And continuing from what Mr. Alagappan was saying, so these are the places where we had offices. So this was a talk that I had given in Oxford University in I think maybe June or July, and about business resilience to family business. So I just modified that here. These are the places we had the offices, and if you go today to Singapore, you will see the statue of the Chettiads and doing merchant banking to the local community. And the richest Singaporean today attributes his success to the belief that the Chettiads had on money lending to them. And this is how our offices used to look. Very, very Spartan, very, very there. And literally the beds that you see were beds in the night, and in the day they put the money underneath. So literally we were sleeping on top of the money. So that's how the offices were. And like what Mr. Alagappan was saying, so we believe in the Artha Shastra, no man you transact will lose, and you shall not lose either. And Thirukural says, make profit but give back, which is charity. These are the mantras and the covenants that the Chettiads have built their businesses on. And 1,000 years ago, like Mr. Alagappan said, the tsunami affected, and because of the tsunami in the 10th century, we moved to this part of India. And the dry place and the British expansion in the 1870s helped us to set up all the offices in the Far East. Literally every Far East country we had. And the population, which was 10,000 in 1890, and grew up 15x wealth in a short span. But this was my great-grandfather who built this house. His picture is in the corner, and this was built again in 1922. You can see the old pictures in the hung up there. Maybe once the program gets over, you can have a look at that. And this is the original stone, which is just behind me, diagonally behind me, which has the date put 7/6/1922. So that's why we're celebrating 100 years today here. So this house has seen weddings across for 5 generations, and the original plaster is made out of eggshells and calcium, and this is original plaster. It's never been painted again. And another interesting thing to say is that both these side paintings was given as competition. So this was given to one painter, and this was given to one painter. And then as a competition, they said that you may paint things differently, but we want you to paint the same thing. So this picture and this picture is the same picture given as competition to the artists. So they said that you can all each decide who is the better painter today. And another interesting facade is that we'll talk about that in the next minute. So that's weddings which happened. And in those days, each of the weddings used to be for 14 days. You might ask what used to be done in 14 days. So over 14 days, we have this system of friends and family around as investors today. But in olden days, there used to be something called syndicate. So we used to be calling them Pangali. And till today, generations, maybe 6-7 generations, the Pangalis are invited. And we all discussed business strategies during these weddings, which used to happen for 2 weeks long. And that's when these things, so each event would be a day, and then the rest of the day is meant for discussing strategy. They left the Deccan because of some tax disputes, came across because they protested against some tax, came in to the south of India for salt mining. They became retail bankers of the British, established, and then once the British closed, a lot of them got into rubber plantations and coffee plantations once the British independence happened, because the retail banking got closed. And there were visionaries like my great-grandfather who saw this coming, and he said that we have to change our business model. And that's when he started as a journalist in Sri Lanka, and he did exactly the same thing what Gandhi did in South Africa. And which is Gandhi's cause was the mining workers, but my great-grandfather was the tea garden workers, which is the seeding of the Tamil problem in Sri Lanka today. That the Indian Tamil workers were taken as bonded labor, and he wrote feudal journalism, which is all still available in his book. And that's how Gandhi and him became friends. The interesting thing that you are all here today is that you can see this picture of Gandhi with a shirt on. So that is the year Gandhi removed the shirt, and the place where Gandhi removed the shirt was in my great-grandfather's house in Madurai in September 21st that year. So that's how Gandhi coincides both of this year. And so he was called the Textile King. He went on to be the world's largest textile operator in 1974. Vajra Coats was the biggest, but then he established Meenakshi Mills in 1922. And there again we are celebrating 100 years this year of his feast. And he had 500,000 spindles with 14 mills. And he also established the Bank of Madurai, which is one of the largest private banks in India till recently, and then merged with ICICI Bank. I know we have a lot of our banking colleagues here, so I'm sure it will be good for them. Why is it? Yeah. This is, he also bought Peter Orr and Sons. They used to manufacture very, very good fine silverware and metalware. And if you go to the Toronto, Ontario Museum, I'm sure Patrick's wife was a Canadian, or maybe an American now, but a Canadian earlier, might go to the Ontario Museum and see this piece, which is in the museum today. And so he built several educational institutions. And one such institution was actually rooted in this picture. Mountbatten was the last viceroy of India, and who lived in the largest presidential palace in the world. And Rajaji went to live in his palace, live in the presidential palace, Rashtrapati Bhavan as we call it. And he gave his house to Thiagaraja Polytechnic, an Indian institution which we were building in 1958. He said that you can start early, and gave us his house to start the Polytechnic when it was being built in Salem in our place. That's the roots of our education, and that is the inauguration of Thiagaraja Polytechnic, where you can see my grandfather with my great-grandfather and Education Minister Mr. Humayun Kabir, India's first education minister then, to inaugurate that. And so that's the, for want of time, I'll just cut some of those things. So one of the important things, like what Mr. Alagappan was talking about, we believe in the spirit of family trusteeship. So that each generation is keeping things ahead for the next generation, so that we can pass on the benefits. So and this is the mantra that we operate on. What you get from your forefathers is their gift to you. What you do with what you have is your gift to them. So that's the mantra that we follow. And the Sona Group today educates and engineers the world to solve society. It strives to make people healthier. We do this to bring global prosperity. So this is one of our covenants of what we run our group today. And we chose the banyan tree because we believe that the banyan tree keeps growing everywhere, and wherever it grows, it keeps roots. And we like to tie ourselves with roots and deep entrenched to wherever we are. So be it in the industries we serve, be it the customers we have, be it the various places that we operate, we like to be global but also be local. And so we also look at generational learning. So you saw my grandfather honoring the great-grandfather there, and here you see 3 generations learning, and I'm learning from my father and my grandfather in this picture with Ramakrishna Hegde. So my grandfather went on to build the Sona campus, the Sona College of Technology, which my father still continues towards education, building the Arts and Science College, the school, and today, for the Minister Sir, we graduated over 200,000 engineers from our institutions. And so we are these are some of the institutions that we are. For want of time, I will skip. We have the IT Minister here today, but the grandfather of IT Indian industry is also sitting in our midst. It's our chairman who brought IT to India in 1982-83. So that is the US ambassador with the CEO of Texas Instruments inaugurating TI. And if you see here, you will see the satellite being unloaded from a bullock cart. So if you Google history of IT in India, you will see this picture of Charlie Simon unloading the satellite. And if you want to see how I looked 30 years ago, that is me there 30 years ago there. And so today, we Technologies operates in healthcare, engineering services, and IT, and a couple of other areas like AEC services and manufacturing. So I'll just skip those. So these are our offices across. It was not meant for this audience, but I'm just flipping through. We pride ourselves in giving quality education that's been recognized through the world by various international linkages, as well as the CII AICTE award as the best industry-linked institution. And we were fortunate that President Kalam came for our golden jubilee and inaugurated the laboratories. And one of our prides is the fact that we focus on research and development towards furthering India's mission. So be it in space, where we have designed, developed and manufactured all of India's rocket motors for the last 8 years. And that's the ISRO chairman visiting our laboratory. And we make every type of motor for the rocket. So be it the fuel mixers, be it the thrusters, the navigation motors, and stepper motors. So several motors have been given to that. And this is the moon landing. For the moon landing, we are making the Doppler mechanism, which will throw the laser down. And last time we had a problem, so hopefully this time our Doppler mechanism will help smother the moon landing. And we also make the thinnest watch in the world, Titan watches. We enable that. The bottom of the watch is engineered by Sona. Just to give you 2 examples of that. And we believe in giving back. So these are some of the things that we have done as a 100-year journey as to what we do. So we are helping agriculture waste, which is 40% of India's agriculture waste is wasted, $14 billion, 96,000 crores. And we are helping them dry them, sun dry them using a solar tunnel, which is very cheap, which is here, which is very cheap, can help the farmers reinvest their produce at a proper price. And we also are working with disabled women. This is all done through a program called Women Technology Park, for which the Sona Group has won the Leelavati Awards continuously for the last 3 years, which is for women development. And Sona Yukti is focused towards skilling and skill building. We have centers around. Hire Me is a recruitment platform, so we have close to 2 million users of Hire Me. And I'd like to highlight to the Minister that in the Nan Mudalvan scheme, we have contributed to with 2 lakh people that we are assessing. இந்த மாணவர்கள் ஏன்னா நிறைய பேர் மாணவர்கள் 5 லட்சம் salary வரணும், 6 லட்சம் salary வரணும் எதிர்பார்ப்பாங்க. பட் அவங்க capability or the knowledge and now will be less. So அதை எப்படி bridge பண்ணலாம்னு நாள் முதல்வன் ஸ்கீம் மூலமா we are assessing and then giving psychometric assessment. உங்க mindset, how can they change, what is the mindset, what is it best அப்படின்னு we are partnering with Dr. Innocent Vidya, MD Skill Development, to build this. And we are also in COVID we changed Hire Me into an educational platform for edtech companies, and this has also helped. I was awarded the Social Impact Award by the YPO 2 years ago in Cape Town for the social impact work that we have given. So for the Minister sir, this is X Prize is an American prize. The most famous X Prize winner is Virgin Galactic. So they take the man outer space and they got a $10 million prize. So there was a $5 million prize for rapid reskilling. America, how can we skill people at half the time? So we have participated as Hire Me into that, and the competition is over. Semi-final round we won. Hopefully finals also the $5 million prize we should be winning. So the idea is to show how we could have done the same thing in India, but we'd be happy to collaborate the same thing in Tamil Nadu and see how we can do the same thing for skill building in Tamil Nadu. This is where the US team started, and they're all here today. And this picture was taken 2 years ago, and the large team of 21 people from the US have come here, sir. So all of them are running operations in the US. So today we service some of the biggest hospitals in the US. Close to 500 large hospitals are being serviced by us. Plus about 10 million people. We are looking at proactive health. So today, healthcare as we have it in India is focused on sick care. If you become sick, you go to the hospital. So we are looking at population health in the US, which is called Obamacare. So we are one of the largest participants in that, where we are now focusing on wellness. So how can we keep a person outside the hospital? The hospital gets money by you not going into the hospital. That's what we enable the health of the patients today. And so this is we have an annual event. That's how the US team has come here. Every November we meet here. So a lot has changed in 100 years. This is the picture outside our New York office in 100 years ago, and we see no cars. In 100 years later, this is the picture taken in the same place in New York, outside our office, and you see the transformation that has happened. And we are excited that the world is transforming, and it is becoming much more technologically driven. And so some of the values, I'm concluding by some of the values that we had over 100 years has been that this family has been a vegetarian family. We believe in the ethos of supporting vegetarianism. So when the Delhi Darbar restaurant came and told father that he says it's the biggest restaurant here, we are coming to Bangalore. And they said that we cut 10,000 chicken a day. He said, that is why I will not have you as my tenant, because of the values that I had. And then later, Discotech wanted to come and ask for a space. So he said, I'm considered Industrial Valliappa, I don't want to change it to Disco Valliappa. And our values are, we don't harm anyone, so no tobacco, no alcohol, so that it doesn't affect the people. And so we've also embraced failures. We've learned from failures over the years. We've lost sugar mills. We built chemical factories and closed it down. We had textile mill strikes, fires, and that's helped us to change ourselves to what we should do. And skill training is another major loss, because we want to help society in India in skill training, but unfortunately the system is not designed to actually do impact. So that's one of our failures that we did in the way the system is set up in India. And we have a hybrid model. It's between a private equity and an operating company. So we believe in entrepreneurship, and that's something that we instill in all our employees, and see some of our services that we do. And again, for want of time, I'm just skipping through the services that we do in different industries, so a lot of you will know that. To conclude, we are not mainly changing education or engineering. we are transforming both. We are not just re-engineering, we are engineering the future. So as we march to our next 100 years, so these are some of the initiatives that we have, and as we march to the next 100 years, we are rooted to our mission and our vision, and our vision is to globalize success to make lives better. So that's and so thank you for this short thing. So taking you back 100 years of what we've done. So please do stay back for the program, and we have lunch to